This program is intended as a visual guide to help a qualified engineer develop a safe hot tap plugging procedure for the Peterson Multiflex pipe plug. The components of the hot tap insertion system are the tapping saddle and valve, the launch cylinder, a multiflex pipe plug with a Z-swivel on the inflation end of the plug, and a directional shoe on the lead end, an inflation controller with gauge, an inflation hose, an inflation ram assembly with centering guide, inflation ram packing seal, and a T-handle. After the tapping saddle and valve are installed and the pipeline tapped, the launch cylinder may be attached to the tapping valve. Be sure to tighten all fasteners securely. Alternatively, the plug may be pulled into the other end of the launch cylinder with the inflation ram prior to attaching the launch cylinder to the valve. Attach the plug to the inflation ram, making sure the Z-swivel lines up correctly with the ram to prevent cross-threading. A 3-inch flange is available from Peterson for this connection if preferred. Next, tighten the two pieces together with a pipe wrench or a pressure-tight fit. Here is a picture of the multiflex pipe plug and inflation ram next to the launch cylinder. Note how the Z-swivel allows the inflation connection to bend, helping the plug to turn into the pipeline. Next, measure and mark the distance the inflation ram must be pushed into the launch cylinder to position the Z-swivel in the center of the pipeline to be plugged. Mark this distance on the inflation ram. Then, lock the T-handle on the inflation ram to the bottom on the launch cylinder packing seal. You're now ready to load the multiflex pipe plug into the launch cylinder. Insert the plug into the cylinder. Be sure the bow of the plug, the Z-swivel, and the directional shoe are pointed in the direction the plug should turn into the pipeline. Once the plug and insertion ram are successfully loaded into the launch cylinder, verify that the T-handle anchor is securely anchored prior to opening the hot tap valve and pushing the plug into the main pipeline. After the launch cylinder, T-handle, and insertion ram are ready, open the tapping valve to equalize the pressure between the launch cylinder and host pipeline. The plug is now pushed into the main pipeline with the inflation ram. The inflation ram should bottom on the packing seal to assure the Z-swivel is centered in the tapped pipeline. Large plugs and high-pressure systems may require a winch or other device to pull the T-handle to the proper position. The plug then enters the pipeline. Notice how the Z-swivel allows the plug to move and center itself in the pipeline. Once the insertion ram is set, anchor the T-handle to prevent the pipeline pressure from pushing the inflation ram out as the plug inflates. Then connect the inflation hose to the insertion ram assembly. The plug in the pipeline is now ready for inflation. Use a bleeding-type pressure regulator and relief valve to maintain the correct plug inflation pressure with changing temperature and head pressure. Inflate the multiflex pipe plug to the maximum rated pressure. Notice how the plug completely seals off the pipeline. Once pipeline maintenance is finished, it's time to disassemble the system. Turn off the inflation pressure and allow the plug to deflate completely. If the pipeline does not have enough pressure to deflate the plug, or if the plug is inflated with a liquid, a vacuum pump may be required to deflate the plug completely. Disconnect the inflation hose. If there's not much pressure on the inflation ram, unlock the chain anchoring the T-handle and pull the insertion ram out. If there's significant pressure on the inflation ram, or the plug is large, it may be necessary to use a winch to pull the plug back into the launch cylinder. Then, close the tapping valve on the pipeline. Connect a hose to the launch cylinder valve and open the valve to depressurize the launch cylinder. Disassemble the launch cylinder bolts and remove it from the tapping valve. Remove the multiflex pipe plug from the launch cylinder and examine it for damage. If the plug is still in like-new condition and tested, it may be Multiflex plugging system is a safe, efficient, and proven method to seal off a pipeline. This summary provides general information to help a qualified engineer develop a hot tap plugging procedure for a specific project. It is not intended to be complete or address all plugging situations or all safety issues. Please contact the Peterson Products Company if you have any questions on how to use the Multiflex pipe plug for your specific hot tapping project. Peterson can provide customized Multiflex pipe plugs and hot tapping systems for most pressure and chemical requirements. Contact Peterson by calling 1-800-926-1926 or 262-692-2416. You can also email us at sales@peterson.cc or visit us on the web at www.pipeplug.com.